Hey everybody, how's it going? It's the Daily Shooter, and today we're going to be taking a second look at the Sig Sauer SP2022 for a specific purpose. I originally reviewed this specific one right here back in 2015, so it's been a little bit longer than 6 years now, and I get more questions about this now than I do pretty much anything else that I've reviewed in the past. There's a reason for that. The reason is because when I got this and I reviewed it, I lived in California, and California has a roster. If you know what the roster is, you know what it is. It's absolutely terrible. It limits what you can acquire in the state, so people don't have too many options, and this is still one of the options that's on those on that roster. And so people look at it and they want to know, hey, since you moved to Nevada, I moved to Nevada about 2.5 years ago now. Since you moved to Nevada and you have access to everything else that you want to get and you don't have the roster requirements, do you still think that the SP2022 is a viable option? So that's what I want to talk about today. Given all the new stuff that I've been able to try and use over the past couple years now, do I still like the 2022? Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the SP2022. So when I originally reviewed this back in 2015, there wasn't really all that much talk about how good of a pistol it was. So I didn't have that much expectation of it. When I took it out, I was really surprised. It was very accurate. It was reliable. Still to this date, not a single problem with this pistol whatsoever. But back then, it was reliable. It was accurate. It was ergonomic, adjustable back straps. I mean, I really liked it. I think the reason that there weren't too many people that were jumping up and down about the 2022 back then was because people were still stuck on SIG being, an all-metal manufacturer. SIG and polymer didn't really go hand in hand. People were still just primarily buying the 226, 220 and stuff like that. So when they came out with something like this that was half the price or less than half the price of the other options that had a polymer frame, I just don't think it got the attention it should. So I made a video of it back then saying that it's just the most underrated pistol that's out there. And I gotta be honest, I still think that to this day. It's still definitely underrated because it still does what it did when I originally reviewed it. So people say, well, now that you have access to everything else, right? You can get the 320s, you can get all the different stuff that would be considered off roster in California. So yeah, all the latest and greatest things are available to me now. Yeah, that's true. But the basic things still stand, right? The basic principles, and the basic operation, and the basic functions pretty much still all have to be the same. And while there are a lot of other things that are great on the market right now, the basic principles apply to this. Is the SP2022 accurate? Yeah, it's very accurate. It'll shoot as good as your skill level will allow you to shoot. If you're really good, you'll be able to get nice tight groups with it. If you're not very good and you're not well trained, they're going to open up a little bit, right? Is it comfortable? Is it ergonomic? Yeah, it's ergonomic. As a matter of fact, SP2022, you can remove the entire back strap and get a large back strap, a medium or a small back strap. You can use, some of the old SIG Pro back straps, I believe, that will fit on this thing. And so you can make it still fit you. Is it reliable? It's 6 years. I've got plenty going through this now, and it is still 100% reliable. I'm still yet to have a problem with this. As a matter of fact, I've still been using the original 10-round mags that came with this back in California, and those things look almost brand new, even though they've been dropped and kicked through the dirt for years and years and years. Now, granted, I probably haven't shot this thing in the last year, but I used it significantly for the last 5. So I can say for a fact that this thing is reliable. You take in the fact that it's ergonomic, it's accurate, and it's reliable, and it doesn't really matter what the new latest and greatest things come out, right? So the new latest and greatest things, sometimes they, make little improvements here or there, but the overall basic functionality of all these newest, latest and greatest things that come out are fairly similar, right? It really comes down to, this guy came out with a little bit longer barrel, or maybe they put on some night sights, or, this new company went from a this to a this, but it's all like, a lot of it's cosmetic, right? The basic features are still the same. So when all those people from California write me emails, and I try and get back to as many as I can, I get a lot, and it's really difficult, and I apologize if I haven't gotten back to you yet. But for all those people that write me saying, hey, is the SP2022 still good? Yeah, it's still great. Still shoots, still does exactly what you want it to, and it's still absolutely relevant. It's single, double action. The slide is very easy to manipulate, whether the hammer is up or down. So it's easy for people to use. It's easy for men, for women, for strong and weak shooters. It is the sights. The sights are great. They're simple 3-dot sights, but they're nice. They're low profile, nice and low to the bore. The recoil impulse on this thing is good. It's accurate. It's great. I don't see really anything that's come to market that really says that this is no longer a viable option. So there's a lot of people in California that, and other states too, that are looking for options other than just what you get. Like, so in California, you're kind of stuck with the Gen 3 Glock, which is really a pain in the butt. And that's why a lot of people in California modify things. They change things, they change slides, they change out all their, stuff because they want something that's a little bit different. Everybody in these other states has all this different fancy new stuff, and they're stuck with the same thing. So they try and make it a little bit more personalized to them and different than just a standard Gen 3. And so what they do is they make those modifications, they change it, and then eventually they want something different. But the list that you can get is so short that you're stuck. Then you go and you look at SIG, and you're looking at a 226 in California, costs $1,200. Well, I really want a SIG. I don't want another Glock, but I want to pay $1,200. 2022. Is it good? Hell yeah, it's good. It's great. Works really well, does everything that you want it to do. So everything that I said back in 2015 about this thing still stands to this day. And if you're somebody who's in California, hell, if you're somebody who's just in a state where you do have access to everything, this thing is still a very reliable, affordable option. I looked at them at Sportsman's just this morning, and they were coming in at like $499. So $499 for single action, double action, with the Picatinny rail and all the aftermarket accessories that you could possibly want at this point. It's still an option, I think, for everybody. So again, the 2022, does it still live up to everything these days? Absolutely. If you're in California, I'd still recommend it. Thank you all very much. I really do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe. Have a great day.